Okay. Still kind of evaluating guys coming out of the game. Couple bumps and bruises, but nothing looks significant, at least long term. I thought, just like we talked about yesterday, I thought all three phases did enough good things in the game, a lot to clean up because we left some hay out there. But good connected team win on the road and on to Chicago here.
A lot of guys after the game said it was ugly, but they still pulled it off. Where are you on? Obviously, you got to win, but winning ugly, is that a good thing the team can win ugly?
Win or lose, our process is our process. So we're always trying to get things cleaned up, learn from the good and the bad. I don't know what they're saying about that, but what they're probably getting at is we got to clean some things up and learn from this game. So that's coaches, players, everybody. So that's what we do.
What do you think turned it in terms of the offense, especially the last three possessions of the game resulted in 2 touchdowns and a field goal where it seemed like pretty much everything was clear?
Really good play calling, really good attention to detail by the coaches, and a lot of playmaking. Players make plays, man. That's what they did.
When you look at the game as a whole, just what's something that really stands out that you're really impressed or proud of?
I think probably just our resiliency, not being up in that game. I mean, I'm not into momentum, but never having the lead kind of from behind the whole game there, but battling back and having belief. And you get the ball with five minutes. I think around 5 minutes, you got to go the length of the field to score to win the game, and that's what we did. And for them not touch it again, that's a pretty cool way to win. So, and it starts with the defense getting that last stop on 3rd down, and the offense doing their thing. So that was good to see. And then obviously Chad booting it through, with all the chips on the table.
Speaking of Chad, maybe overlooked a little bit in the game was the long one earlier and getting into even position with 2 plays when it was 2nd and forever.
Yeah.
How big was that? Not only the points, but the confidence now that, hey, he can hit the long ones too.
Well, I know he can hit the long ones, what he does in practice. I thought, 2 plays that'll go overlooked is what you just talked about, Howard. 2nd and forever, get it 3rd and forever, get it back to kind of the line that we felt good about at that point in time with where the wind was, and because it was kind of right there. And we sent him out there and he booted it through. But those were huge 3 points right there, So I thought I liked what the offense did. Obviously, not to put ourselves in that hole. I dislike going backwards, but to get a productive play on 2nd down, a productive play on 3rd down, to where you don't have to punt there. That was huge.
One thing we didn't ask about last night was the safety. How crucial, how important was that to it?
Yeah, I think the 2 points happened, and then we scored, and we went for 2 and didn't get it, but 8 points on the board, that's a good thing, and ended up being a drive stopper, and our offense got the ball, so it was good.
The offense hasn't allowed a sack the last 3 games. What's been the successful part of that so far?
Well, I think the attention to detail in pass pro, a lot of guys winning one-on-ones. It starts with Yelda, getting us in the right things. Guys doing a good job. That what goes overlooked too sometimes are the backs and the tight ends and even the receivers, we're chipping and chunking and thumping and thudding, all those different ways we term that for different reasons. I think they do a good job. Amari was awesome yesterday, I thought. James was awesome in pass pro. And then when they get you, they got to say too, you know what I mean? When they attack a protection or, they dial an unscouted look or they bring certain people that you don't think that they're going to bring, Kyler, it's hard to get him on the ground one-on-one back there. So I think that's a thing that makes it challenging for a defense is even if you have a free runner, can that guy get him on the ground? And, their premier player has a free run at him and he eludes them and we score a touchdown. You know what I mean? So that's playmaking, so his ability to extend, but it starts with the O-line and they're doing a good job.
How much, you always talk about Kyler's operation, but when he's doing all that, and yet when he does stop to throw, he has that feel where guys are going to be.
Yeah, he's got really good poise, and our guys, there's a couple, and the more they get reps with each other, the better they're going to get. But there's some big time, as you guys would say, not as you would say, like instinctive feel plays. Trey, Mike, Dortch, James Conner, like Marvin. Like there's a lot of times where he's prolonging the play. And there's some feel to those scramble drills, and he's very poised. He's never sped up, and he's still got his eyes downfield. And then he makes a decision sometimes to tuck it and run it too. So those are huge plays for us. Extension plays are huge.
How would you assess Kyler's operation yesterday?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
The offensive line is often asked and talks about having to maybe have some longer protection, be smart when you've got a quarterback like Kyler who can extend plays the way he can. Same go true for the wide receivers. That Michael Wilson touchdown, a good example there as well.
Yeah, absolutely, Danny. There's we coach certain things, but then there's a feel to certain things too. And like I said, like the more we keep doing it, the more when it works out, our confidence is going to grow, and their learning experiences too today. So. The coaches will point out some things that we need to improve on, but some things that are good too. And oh, by the way, this is what happened, but let's say this would have happened. What would the response been? You know what I mean? So you can learn from that too. So it's good. We got to keep learning and getting better.
You often talk about marrying cover and rush on defense, but did you feel it felt like, other than the one longer pass to Hill, that neither Hill or Waddell really got off? And I'm wondering if the young defensive backs elevated their game yesterday, in your opinion. Did you like how they kind of showed out? Or, again, is it one of those things where it's like they had some good moments and there's other
again, a lot to learn from. Obviously, we had assets in the secondary for those two guys. I thought we did it. That was one of the keys, one of the winning edges to me was those guys not to go crazy. I think Tyreek had 72, and I think Waddle had 40-something, I want to say. That's a good day at the office, So, and it takes all 11 because rush and cover marry up. But I thought the guys in the pass game, from, Buda and JT back there, Garrett had some really good snaps, Star and Max. They stepped up to the plate and played well, and they competed. They challenged guys and competed, and they made some plays, which they're going to, but so did they.
Just to amplify that, like Hill, Tyreek, he only had one catch in the second half. So was that just kind of the way the game went, or was there some better play there?
A little bit of both. They ran it a little bit on us in the second half, and they kind of stuck to the run game a little bit. But when he was trying to throw it to him, I thought we did a good job on those guys.
Trey is a top 3 tight end in a number of categories. But what makes him an elite tight end, or in your words, a premier tight end?
The multifaceted skill set. He's not a one-trick pony. He's really good in the run game. And then he's a guy that, I talk about receivers. I think, it's worth mentioning for a tight end, he's a 3-level guy. So he can beat you first level, second level, third level. And then, in my opinion, where I think he's really elite is with the ball in his hands. He's got a knack for knowing when to, cover the ball up, when to stiff arm, when to hurdle guys, when to cut back, when to lower his shoulder, when to split two. He's a tough tackle, and he's fast. He plays with really good balance, really good control. He's a big guy, so he's hard to bring down, but he's pair that with those other athletic traits, and he's a big-time weapon.
Where are you on the hurdle? Do you mind when guys hurdle, or do you prefer that not?
The ball better be tucked away.
JT, first time the Cardinals have won back-to-back games since 2021. Can you put it into perspective just how hard it is to win in this league and stack those wins?
Yeah, winning's hard, and our guys know though, like it takes all week to get yourself ready to go and give yourself a chance to win. So, as always, the challenge is knowing exactly what the week's going to entail, what you got to do on a per second basis throughout the week to play your best football individually and as a team. So, the time's ticking right now, Chicago, so that's what we're on to.
You've talked about Blake's ability to flip the field. What does that do for a team overall?
Yeah, I mean, field position game's huge, so he's I thought Dortch's play was awesome down there. He was fired up about it, but he does it in practice all the time. I kind of rouse him every once in a while, like, let's see him make that in a game, and sure as hell he did. Yeah, I mean, it's huge. When you make them go 80, 85, 90 yards all day, it's an advantage for you, for the defense. So he's a weapon for us. Those specialists are doing well.
How important was it with James, where similar to the San Francisco game, where late in the third quarter there hadn't been that much production, and then he went off in that game, and then yesterday also in those last two drives.
Those couple runs were huge. Yeah, absolutely. And because there's a lot of different ways you can play, because we were rolling with the pass game, but we wanted to eliminate some variables there at the end of the game. That's what we chose to do, and man, he was tough to bring down. Had some really good runs in there. I think my favorite play, look it up, play 61. Where we got, basically everybody pushing the pile, from Marvin to Dortch to Beach to Froholt blocking his guy 10 yards down the field, James keeping his legs moving. That's just kind of, as a coach, it's good to see, because that's what I envision the effort looking like, and that's what it was. So those guys are laying it on the line, man.
You talk about going through the process and not looking backwards and focusing on the next opponent. For players, is that a learned kind of thing, or do guys just, is that inherent, knowing?
No, I think it's not inherent. Yeah, I think it's my job and the coach's job to make them understand, what winning behavior looks like with your brain as well. And we got a really good psych department that helps with that, helps me with that. But they got to reset themselves. They got to have, the ability to focus on the task at hand day in and day out. And you got to ignore external factors, what's going on, Again, like it's, you win on a walk-off, you lose on a walk-off. It's the same today. It just is. Now you feel different, you know what I mean? But I always tell them, like, it really doesn't matter how you feel. What matters is how you act. So are we acting the right way? Today we did.
Can you talk about how important your special teams unit is? Mark put a stat out about the punts and kicks.
Yeah, huge. It's one of the main reasons we're winning games right now. You know what I mean? Those guys, and not just the specialists. Aaron, Blake, and Chad get all the love. There's some guys that are playing big time snaps for us on special teams, both on the offensive players and defensive players. That are making an impact on the game. That when you watch the tape, it's like, holy cow, that was a really good play. Man, glad he did that. We needed that. All that shows up. And we got a core group of guys. But what I love about Jeff and Sam, how they train those guys, we got kind of a core group that play all four, right? And then we have, starters play certain units, and not every team does that. If you're a starter on offense and defense, you don't play special teams. That's not what it is here, because we understand the impact that those plays have on a game. So, and then for our guys to understand, that's kind of our fault. It's team over you. Like, does Higgins want to play punt and go down and cover punts and try to tackle people? Yeah, if it's the best thing for the team, yeah, I do want to do that. Okay, well then you're the starting, guard or tackle on punt. You know what I mean? So he's the best guy to do it. Let's do it. You're in. So, and that's not pointing out that Higgy Bear has that attitude. All our guys do. You know what I mean? So that's been really cool to see. Since I know before I got here, it was a strength of this team. Since I've been here, we count on those special teams and they deliver, so kudos to Jeff and Sam and the players that all of them are actively involved in that. They're doing a good job for us.
What is it about this offense that allows it to put together those late game winning drives?
Confidence. I think confidence in themselves, and then I think the quarterback, they know they got a chance to win with our quarterback, so if they just do their job and max out, our quarterback can get it done. So there's a lot of confidence when they trot out there, that we're going to win a game. And I have a lot of confidence too.
You said you left some hay out there. What are some of the areas you want to see cleaned
Yeah,
up?
just when you asked about Kyler operation, a couple of things that, on the road versus they did a good job. Miami did a good job of some of the design of, after we're checking to a play, then the look changing and it get a little hairy, you know what I mean? So, and I thought Drew did a good job through the game to adapting to it, but we weren't all on the same page all 60 whatever plays, you know what I mean? And that hurt us at times, right? So that's always the thing about operation, and make sure we're clean. And, I'm mad at Kyler today. The first third down, we don't get in and out of the huddle quick enough. You know what I mean? I got to bang a timeout. I don't like that. He knows that, so because you're going to need those timeouts. So and he did a fantastic job. It's just I expect like 100% from that unit with that. You know what I mean? And it's never going to be that. But when we do that at a really, really high level, we're pretty hard to defend. So, but with saying that, the plays that I'm pissed about, there's other plays that he made checks and adjustments to. And I mean, there's a play that Dortch, because we're on silent cadence, I'm not going to get too much into it, but silent cadence, the play wasn't, Dortch was supposed to motion. He already kicked his leg. Ball was coming. He knows Dortch is supposed to motion. Dortch doesn't come in motion. Ball snap. Dortch actually gets to where he needed to get to just from the other side of the field, and we found a check down. It was a huge play, but it was like for Kyler to not panic, go through his progression, find the check down, get a positive play. That's something that was not right pre-snap. Those are huge plays, you know what I mean? And it speaks volume to him, the command that he has, to know his answer on the page, as Drew would say. But I do think we have to clean some of those things up. Hence what was the word you used? No, what Beach said? Messy. You know what I mean? So that's what he's talking about, some of those things like that, because they know when it's not exactly right. You know what I mean? So, and again, credit to Miami, because they did some things that were unique and challenging for us, so, but we did enough to win.
Coach, you talk about building winning behavior. Does part of that include having your guys ignore where they are in the context of the division, or is part of your messaging to embrace the fact that it is wide open at this point?
No. Yeah, that's an external factor that we are not worried about. Our record, who's where, this and that. There's so much ball to be played. Winning behavior would be putting all your energy and focus into Chicago on what you can do on a Monday at 3:00 right now, and that's what they're doing.
It was one of those poised plays, that strange one when the ball got knocked out of Kyler's hand, and yet first down, and yet he was able to go get it, even though it was an incomplete pass.
Lucky it saved us yardage, yeah, and it could have been a turnover too. I'm glad it bounced back up to him. Sometimes how the ball bounces.
That play to Dortch or that play that included the one you just talked about, is that kind of a sign of Kyler's? Is it understanding? Is it maturity? Is it experience?
Well, he shouldn't have put his leg up to snap the ball, because now the ball's coming and he knew he shouldn't put his leg up. But you can see I'm hard on the little guy, ain't I? I mean, this guy was elite yesterday, and I'm talking about one play where he, got the snap too quick. You know what I mean? But that's how he wants to be coached, anyhow. Yeah, what I love about him is right, wrong, indifferent. He's never sped up. And I think that's a huge piece to playing quarterback at a high level. Knowing your answers, knowing the design, knowing what's going on around you. The game's slow for him as it's moving real fast for everybody else. And some of those plays that he made, some of the throws that he made, whether it be accuracy or anticipation or extension, finding guys, the poise that we talked about, the third down run, like, come on, man. I mean, you pause the tape and he's got 8 yards and there's 4 dudes around him and it's a first down. Like, it's just, it was elite yesterday.
Is Elijah Jones, I'm just curious, getting closer to the window?
He is, yeah. He's doing a good job. Every day he's doing a good job. I like where he's at. So we'll just take it day by day.
I know you don't like to look back. You don't like to talk about external factors. You guys got through October 3-1, won through your last 4. Is this team finding its rhythm? Has it found its rhythm?
No. One day at a time, man. One day at a time.
Coach, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.